The story of Sparta Naz is just one small piece of God's grander story of grace and His work to bring about restoration to all of His creation. And I think it's important that as we reflect on the story of Sparta Naz, we remember that every life that's been changed, every event that's taken place, every addition that was put on this building, every work and witness trip that was taken, every dollar that was given, every pastor that came out of this place is all because of God's grace.
The basement was the very first church. And from there on, it got one right after another, and it just grew and grew and grew.
And all along the way, there were people that were willing and chose to join hands with how God was working and moving so that God's kingdom would come, that His will would be done on earth as it is in heaven. It was on February 16th, 1946, that an article ran in the Sparta Sentinel Leader seeking interest for a Nazarene church to be planted in the area, to be started. God had stirred the heart of Reverend Denver Pease to run the ad, a step that I can imagine was a leap of faith as he was trying to be faithful to the calling that God had on his life. And around the same time, a Wesleyan Methodist church had closed their doors, and as a result, a small group of Christians were joining together for prayer meetings in the Sparta Library. God, the masterful orchestrator, brought these two threads together, and this small group of Christians responded to Reverend Pease's ad in the paper and organized Sparta Church the Nazarene on March 15th, 1946. They hit the ground running with just 2 days later having their first gathering in a garage on March 17th, with Reverend W.M. McGuire, the district superintendent, appointing Reverend Pease as the pastor of this new church. Now, God would continue to stir the hearts of the people of Sparta Naz throughout the years, and they would respond with some truly incredible willingness to join Him in His work. God's story would continue to be written on the hearts of these Nazarenes as He continued to draw them closer and nearer to Himself and propel them into whatever He had planned for them. Sometimes it looked like big leaps of faith. Sometimes it looked like small, obedient, and faithful steps. But through it all, God was to be glorified as the people of Sparta Naz joined hands with the way God was moving and working in their midst. Today at Sparta Naz, we're continuing on in that rich tradition of responding to the grace of God with swift obedience. We want to be a people that sees where God is at work and joins Him there, no matter what. In a world that appears to be increasingly dark, we want to be shining the light of Christ increasingly brighter. Through meaningful times of worship and study, intentional times of fellowship and reaching out and coming alongside our community, the people of Sparta Naz will continue to stretch into this call to holiness, living like Christ in every facet of life. It's this incredible optimism that originates from a resurrected Savior that propels us into God's great story, believing that there is absolutely no life that God cannot transform. Jesus is alive. God has done amazing work all throughout history. He's done amazing work through the things and the life of Sparta Naz. And we believe that this God who started this work is indeed faithful, and He will bring it to completion. As individuals, we lean into God's grace as He continually works to restore His image within us. Corporately, we lean into God's grace as He continually works to make us a holy people, set apart for His holy purposes. So whatever tomorrow may bring, may the people of Sparta Naz remain faithful to making Christ-like disciples in all the nations, living out this resurrection hope that we have in Jesus Christ. There is certainly good news to be shared in the days ahead. Jesus is alive.